Today's about pairing some delicious canapé dishes that use bugs with some fantastic beers from Hobgoblin. It seems increasingly that eating insects is going to be a very important part of our diets. It's already very normal in parts of the world, but in the West we tend not to eat many insects, but they're a great source of protein, and you can farm bugs quite efficiently and effectively. So it's been quite fun developing these recipes that hopefully make people a little bit more acclimatised to eating insects. Hobgoblin sent me 4 different beers that they wanted to focus on. I just thought about the flavour profiles of each beer, about each different insect that we were going to use and how I might factor those into different dishes that would work as a pairing. The real hope is that our guests are going to A, think the food is delicious, B, not see it as some sort of novelty experiment and just appreciate the relative normality of eating bugs, because I suppose ultimately we quite happily eat things like prawns, which are just sea bugs, really, aren't they? That's the aim, is that people arrive with an open mind and leave thinking, great, where's my next bug fix? At lunch today we're going to be serving 4 different canapés, each one going with a different beer. So I started with the golden beer, which I thought with its citrusy profile would be perfect with salmon. So we got some smoked salmon blinis, there's a little cricket flour in the blinis, and then we got some crispy crickets on top.
I've gobbled mine up.
Texture's really nice. So you got the kind of smooth smoked salmon and cream cheese, then a bit of a crunch at the end.
How is it?
So good.
The next beer was the IPA, so a bit more kind of hoppy, a bit super fresh and delicious. I immediately thought of spicy food, and I thought having some crickets on top of a larb, so kind of Thai, well, in this case we're doing it with raw veal. I thought that was going to be a perfect pairing, and I think that worked really nicely.
Oh, that's really tasty. So good.
Yeah, I already took that.
They're far more crispy.
And then we have the ruby beer, so a little bit richer, a bit darker. Made me think of cheese, so we've gone for some cheese gougere, stuffed with a little herb aioli, and then we've got a handsome little grasshopper poking out the top of that.
It tasted good and it was quite light and refreshing, and I would definitely eat more of it.
It's a great match for the beer, actually.
Then there's the Imperial Ruby, which is even kind of richer, chocolatey, malty. Naturally I thought of chocolates and thought a little buffalo worm brittle on top of that would A, look funny, and B, taste quite good.
Nice. Yeah, very nice.
Particularly on the last course, having a really rich food course, that kind of deep flavoured beer complemented it really nicely.
Traditionally, people have heard the phrase food pairing and assumed you're talking about wine, but the flavour profiles in beer are so rich and varied and interesting, it makes it perfect for food pairing as well. Insects are more sustainable for the planet in many ways. You don't need a great amount of water to produce the same amount of insect protein. The amount of land required is tiny in comparison. You certainly don't need to farm huge fields of corn and maize to feed the insects. There's so many positives for the environment as well. Ultimately, our hope is that this isn't meant to be some kind of wacky, kooky experiment to trick people into thinking, oh, insects are actually okay, when they hadn't thought so on arrival. I really hope people are more open-minded about these things now and probably just haven't quite found a way into eating insects. So going about it in this way, having some great food with the additional help of the guys in the kitchen at Pidgin, paired with some fantastic beers, is just going to nudge people along into eating more insect protein.